Is there nothing more satisfying in sports than a mammoth home run?
Watch how far this one goes. I don't think this is a souvenir. Maybe for somebody outside the ballpark.
Even better than a ball traveling really far is having it collide with a cool object in a confluence of events that requires skill, brute strength, ideal conditions, and sometimes luck. So let's ask, has anyone hit the glove at Oracle Park during a game? What about that locomotive at Dyken Park or that big Macland sign? What are the physics involved in accomplishing these feats of strength? And just how far do you have to hit it? I use math and science to answer these questions, and yeah, some of these have actually been hit. Let's take a look, shall we? The B&O warehouse at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. This is the holy grail of MLB stadium objects, and if you are a fan of this channel, you already know it hasn't been hit yet. Well, in a game, that is. Ken Griffey Jr. hit it during the 1993 Home Run Derby, the only time it's been hit in an organized event. That moment was even honored with the plaque. At its closest point, it's 439 feet from home and elevated up 20 feet from the ground and an additional 15 feet to the bricked area. Now, before I tell you how far you have to hit a ball to strike the warehouse, let's take a quick aside. I had a little problem. I had to figure out the trajectory that it would take to hit the warehouse at an elevated target. And I'm actually not that smart. I tried using the Pythagorean theorem, but that doesn't account for gravity. Enter in Dave Rosofsky Sports, who is way smarter than me. He's mapping every weird high school baseball field in America, and you should check out his website, ballparkatlas.com, where you can order really cool posters, merch, hats, the whole thing. Anyways, he gave me a formula in which all I have to do is plug in the distance from home and the height of the object, and it will give me a rough estimate on what it would take to hit that target. His calculator says it would take a 455-foot home run right down the line to hit the warehouse. And yeah, in over 33 years, that hasn't happened yet. In 2003, Orioles outfielder Jay Gibbons hit a 420-foot blast down the line that really wasn't all that close. The Houston Astros' Lance Berkman and Kansas City Royals' Alex Gordon also came close, hitting home runs of 430 and 425 feet respectively within 2 weeks of each other in 2008, and neither of them were particularly close. Supposedly, there are wind currents between the warehouse and the stadium that knock the ball down, but also the warehouse is just really far away. Speaking of things really far away, let's imagine what it would take to hit this next one, the roof facade at T-Mobile Park. This one can't be hit, right? Look how tantalizingly juicy this roof looks in right field as it sits only feet behind the home run fence, seemingly hovering over the field. It's only 370 feet away from home, but it's 217 feet above the field. According to Dave's formula, that means it would take a 693-foot home run to put it up here, and the longest home run in the history of ever is 582 feet by Joey Meyer in 1997. Dan Vogelback absolutely crushed a ball here in 2019 that didn't even come close to that roof, and that one was 433 feet. I'd say even with a hype fire, nobody is hitting this thing. Okay, that was an impossible dream of hitting an object that's part of a stadium, but what about taking one clean out? Yankee Stadium, out of the stadium. Though Mickey Mantle came close 2 times, no player ever ended up hitting a ball clear out of old Yankee Stadium during a game. Then new Yankee Stadium came along, and since 2009, nobody has even really come close. That's because in order to take it out of the stadium in a realistic part of the park, you have to clear this huge scoreboard and video board structure, which is 479 feet from home and an estimated 128 feet high. It's likely not even possible. Calculations show that you would need an estimated 841-foot blast for the apex of the ball to fly over the spot at just the right time. Not even young Carlos Stanton is doing that. But what about the Mickey Mantle attempt over the facade in the short right field? Well, that's actually also not doable. It's 406 feet to the structure and about 184 feet high. That would require a 747-foot blast and also right down the line. Aaron Judge has the longest homer in Yankee Stadium's history, a 496-foot blast that came nowhere close to leaving the stadium. Like, It didn't even hit the video board. And the longest left-handed home run was by Raul Ibanez in 2009, and that was actually in the alley. So I don't see anyone taking it clean out of Yankee Stadium. This next one, though, definitely has a chance. In fact, the ballpark wants it to happen. Comerica Park, the Little Caesars glove. We've seen plenty of Hit It Here promotions. In fact, you'll see a summary of them later in this video. But this one is new and unique, and I want someone to hit it in here really badly. And someone did do it. Sort of. In 2021, the Tigers installed a sign over the canopy between the two bullpens at Comerica Park and adorned it with a Little Caesars mascot holding a glove with a hole in said glove. If someone puts it into the hole, giggity, everyone in the Detroit metro area gets a free hot and ready pizza. It's actually quite doable. It's only 387 feet from home plate and about 10 feet above the ground. Ideally, to intersect right through the hot and ready hole, giggity, it would take a well-placed 403-foot blast. So has anyone done it? Well, yes, technically. In 2022, Trey Mancini hit one off the canopy, into the stands, off a fan, and then into the hole, which wasn't a direct hit. I'm not sure if all of Detroit got any pizzas, but even off the ricochet, that's pretty cool. Apparently, some players have also come close, but it hasn't happened directly yet. Okay, so nobody hit that last one, but this next one, someone definitely did, more than once. Busch Stadium, Big Macland sign. Ah yes, 1998. Slam and Sammy and Mark McGwire saved baseball by loading themselves full of more steroids than a Kentucky thoroughbred on race day and obliterating one of baseball's most hallowed and sacred records. Before the season even ended, the Cardinals and McDonald's wanted to cash in on it. How American. In the left field upper deck at Busch Stadium was installed Big Macland and a big sign that looked pretty easy to hit. If a Cardinals player hits the sign or into that seating area, everyone in the ballpark gets a free Big Mac. Now let's look at the math on what it takes to hit one here. The sign is not very far away, about 355 feet from home plate and about 48 feet above the field. Using the calculator, it would take a 421-foot blast to hit it here. Albert Pujols did it first in 2009, a first-inning blast that knocked out the I in the sign. There's no I in team, but there's definitely Pooh in Pujols. Mission accomplished. It would take another 10 years, but Paul DeJong would absolutely crush a ball into the sign, knocking out the M and shattering the neon inside. You'd think they'd put something to protect it, like plastic. They didn't have a final distance for DeJong's homer, but the exit velocity was 104.6, and if that launch angle was 18 degrees, it was a 429-foot homer, which tracks with Dave's calculation and really validates his math. It's actually a great story. DeJong bought the damaged M and then donated $22K to charity. And everyone in attendance got diabetes. Okay, this next one is probably one a lot of people dream about. Daikin Park, the locomotive. Is there a more tantalizing target than a full-size replica locomotive at Daikin Park in Houston? Side note, would y'all stop changing the name of this place? Google Earth doesn't have the roof open here, so I can't measure exactly how far the train is from home plate. However, I can tell you exactly what it does take to hit this thing. In 2015, Mark Rusty Trumbo hit a 464-foot blast off the cowcatcher of the train. Jose Altuve also did it in June 2017. It was estimated that he hit that ball 428 feet and the ball smacked the side of the train. I'm sure there's others who have hit it, given it's a big target and it's close. However, this next one might be impossible to reach. Wrigley Field scoreboard. Built in 1937, the scoreboard at Wrigley Field is one of the last manually operated in the league and also more than likely impossible to hit. According to the Cubs, it's 490 feet horizontally from home plate, but Google Earth measures it at about 470. It's 60 feet above the ground, and though it's huge, it would take a mammoth shot at the perfect angle to hit it. Using Dave's calculator, it would take an inhuman 753-foot blast to hit this thing, and that would be at the most perfect angle off the bat with the ball hitting the bottom of the scoreboard at its apex. Even with a higher launch angle and higher exit velo, it would still take maybe an estimated 643 feet at minimum to hit this scoreboard. Jared Kelenic hit the longest home run here in the StatCast era at 482 feet in 2023, and the scoreboard isn't even in frame. Yeah, nobody's hitting this one. Okay, before we get to our last juicy target, let's do some satisfying quick hitters for you. Josh Donaldson hit the bullseye in practice at Oakland Coliseum when it was named the O.Co Arena. That was pretty sweet. Ryan Howard hit a promotional Pepsi sign at PNC Park during the 2006 Home Run Derby. Ken Griffey Jr. hit the Subway sign at the Metrodome in 2009. Subway did not pay the $25K, by the way, probably needing to pay a PR firm to distance themselves from their former spokesperson. Hunter Renfroe hit the warehouse in left field at Petco Park, and then Will from Baseball Bat Bros did it with a metal bat where he absolutely crushed it. And though it is the minors, many players have hit the bull at Durham Bull Stadium, where if you hit the bull, you win a free steak. And now for our last MLB target, the glove at Oracle Park. Oracle Park is best known for balls that fly into McCovey Cove, aka splash hits, which has happened 106 times by a Giants player and over 55 times by opposing players. Who keeps these stats? But there is a much more tantalizing and fitting target, the glove statue in left center field. Built in 2000, the glove is 27 feet tall and weighs 20,000 pounds. It's made out of steel and fiberglass. It also only has 4 fingers because it's based on an old scale model from a time when people only had 4 fingers. See, that's how we evolved. How far from home plate is this thing? Oh, only about 500 feet, and it's elevated 48 feet above the batter's box. So it could take a blast between 590 and 769 feet to hit this thing. In 2001, Andres Galarraga hit a ball so far it landed next to the Giants soda bottle in left. This home run was measured at 524 feet conservatively and 579 feet on some estimates. It was such a long home run that the Giants did a promotion where they offered $1 million to any player who could hit it in the much further away glove. Yes, this is a true story. Well, in 2 years of running that promotion, nobody even came close, so they stopped doing it. Gary Sanchez had the right idea in 2019, falling well short on this grand slam that went an absurd 467 feet. The aim was good, but hey, Gary, you better hit that weight room. And if you are asking, in 25 years, nobody has hit the giant Coca-Cola bottle either. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. Huge shout out to Dave Rosofsky, who set up the formula for calculating distance, which is not as cut and dry or easy as you think. Remember, these are estimates. Things such as wind, elevation, etc. play a huge factor. So if you're gonna bitch about the calculations, do your own, okay? Make your own site. But seriously, go check out Dave's website, ballparkatlas.com, and order some shirts. Until next time, I'm 5 Points Vids, and you made it to the end of this video.